Hey everybody, so today we're going to learn about cube roots. So why are we learning this? Well, if you look at the cube at the right, you can see that it's made up of smaller unit cubes. You can use this type of model that will help you to understand perfect cubes and cube roots. For this lesson, you're going to need your spiral, a pencil, and a calculator. So let's look at what a perfect cube is. A number that is the cube of a whole number. So cube means we're going to take that number 3 times. So 3 times 3 times 3, which will equal 27. 27 is an example of a perfect cube. If we wanted to write this using exponent, we would write 3 cubed, and we know that that equals 27. This shows you 3 times 3 times 3. A cube root is a number that when used as a factor 3 times is equal to the given number. So we just said 3 cubed is 27, or 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So 3 is the cube root of 27. If I had 2 cubed, that means 2 times 2 times 2, which would give me 8. So 2 is the cube root of 8. So the number that we are multiplying 3 times is going to be the cube root. So let's look at these 3 examples. So we just did number 8, so we're going to go and look at a negative 125. So I want to find the cube root. What times what times what is going to give me a negative 125? Well, if I'm looking at my numbers, I'm going to think, well, 5 times 5 times 5 is going to get me 125. And since it's negative, we know that we'll have to multiply it by a negative 5. So negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 would give me a negative 125. Well, how can I use my calculator to find this if I'm given a problem that I don't quickly understand? So I showed you in class how to find the cube root button. So when you want to find the cube root button, you're going to use your calculator. So you need to make sure you have that out. So we showed you that it's the second function, and then the up arrow key. So if I want to use this function, I'm going to type in the number 3, since I'm finding the cube root. I'm going to put in the second function and the up arrow key. And I'm going to type the number that I'm looking for the cube root. So a negative 125. And it will give me a negative 5. So if I wanted to go back to 8, I would use the number 3, because we're finding cube root. Hit the cubed root button, and then type in 8. And it will give you your answer of 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. So if I'm looking at a fraction, I know that I'm going to take what times what gives me 1 over 64. So we know the numerator is going to be 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 gives you 1. Then I'm going to find the cube root of 64. So I'm going to take 64. I'm going to take 3 first. Our cubed root button, and then 64. So see what you get as an answer when you type that into your calculator. Should have gotten the answer of 4. So I'm going to keep my numerator to be 1, and my denominator is 4. So an answer of 1/4. I want you to find the cube root of these numbers using your calculator. So using your calculator, you should have gotten 6 as the cube root of 216, -1 as the cube root of -1, 1/3 as the cube root of 127, because again, 1 times 1 times 1 gives me 1, so that's the numerator, and we find the cube root of 27. And then a -1,331, your answer is 11. So when we're looking for the length of a side of a cube, it's the same as what we were doing before, and you can use your calculator to help you. So it tells us that the formula for the volume of a cube is side cube. We take side times side times side. So if I knew the volume is 64, and I want to find what the length is, you're going to do what we did before. You're going to type in the 3, cube root sign, 64, and then you will get your answer of 4. Make sure that you get that answer for this question. So let's say we have a different cube-shaped packing box, and it has a volume of 125. I want you to use the information from this slide as to how you would find what each side length of the box is. So if you typed in your calculator, again, we know that a cube, we're going to find the length of the sides, so side times side times side. So find the cube root of 125. We got our answer of 5 feet, and we want to make sure it's labeled because it's labeled in our problem. Try this one on your own. You should have gotten an answer of 8 inches for this question. So when you want to solve a cube root equation, so you're solving x cubed equals 8 over 343. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the cube root of 8, and we're going to find the cube root of 343 using our calculator. 8 will still be our numerator, and 343 will be our denominator. So using your calculator, finding the cube root of 8, we know we're going to get an answer of 2. And then finding the cube root of 343 using your calculator, you get an answer of 7. So our answer, x, would equal 7. 27. So let's look at another one. Again, we want to find the cube root of the numerator and then the cube root of the denominator. So use your calculator and find what the cube root of 27 is and the cube root of 216. And if you can simplify, make sure you simplify your fraction. So you should have found that the cube root of 27 is 3, and the cube root of 216 is 6. 3 6 can simplify to 1/2. Try one more on your own. You should have gotten an answer of 4/9. So that's it for the cube roots lesson. Tomorrow we're going to do some activities in class, so if you are still confused about something, make sure you go back and listen again if you need to. Write down any remaining questions, and make sure you go to the website and click on the link to answer the quiz question. Have a great night.